Hi all, I am back with the next video. This is third video from NJan in NodeJS category. Modules detailed in NodeJS. Let's start. This is our agenda of this tutorial. How modules are wrapping, functional wrapper and its parameter, import and export options are detailed. I am continuing with the existing our samples. We having the two files called sample1.js, sample2.js. It having two functions sum and sub. These two functions are exported on these files. We were discussed about these things in previous tutorial. Okay, now we will talk about the function wrapper. As I already told, all modules meaning all files are wrapped with the function wrapper. The function wrapper will be like this. Function so at the compile time, what you have defined on this function, it will be move on to the this area. So whatever you have defined as a variable or function, it all comes as a local scope, meaning you can't access outside of this function wrapper. Then how we can use, we discussed, right? We can able to export and import few needed properties. We can able to access that. This function wrapper will have the five parameters: module, require, export. Did you remember? Yeah, dir, directory, and file. These are the five parameters. In compile time, this wrapper will get into this. Actually, these properties are using to export the files, and we can able to get some metadata about these modules. This is where in really in compile time it's getting work. Okay, I have listed out what are the parameters are. As I told, module, require, export, directory name, file name. Okay, just we will run it. We got the expected output 5. Here we having the two functions sum and sub. We exported two functions, and here we are importing, and through that import we are accessing that function. Let me explain these properties first, then we can move on to the detail about export and import. Okay, the first property is module. This is a object property. This property will have certain key value pairs. It having the id and export property and few more. Let me print that, you will get more idea on that. First I will print type of that. See here, first line I have printed the type of this property, and next line I am printing that object. Here you can see the first one is object, so the module type is object. The second one is having the certain properties. It having the id, it is used to denote the module identification. The second one is path of the module. The third one is export object. Actually, we can able to export our function or variable using module.exports or direct exports. I will tell you about what is the difference between both things. Actually, really don't have the difference. It is a allies of that. I will tell you parent and file name, and this the path. Whenever we are going to give, this will check these all paths. This is a module. Okay, what is require? Let me check. Let me clear this. See here, the required is a function type. The second one, it return the definition of the function. This function having certain details. The first one is resolve. The resolve going to resolve because whenever we are calling this function, we will pass as a what is the path of particular module. So I told you, right, no need to specify the extension over there. So this is it having the property of extension. If it is a .js or .json .mod node, it will extract from that. If we are mentioning some path, that path having the files with the name of given name with the extension of .js or .json or .node. No need to specify that. Inbuilt it will handle based on this property. It having catchy options. So whenever we are exporting some modules at the first time, it will embedded with the modules object. So whenever we are importing that, it will fetch that and it will keep it on his cache. Instead of loading every time it parsing the files, it will keep it on cache. So it will be performance wise it's good. Main purpose of this record, what we have specified that module, it going to return the exported properties of that particular module. It may be a function or it may be a variables. Next property is exports. This export, I told you right, in module itself having the property called exports. This is an alias of that export only. So whatever you are assigning to this parameter or directly module.export, both are same. I hope you remember. I told you module having the property, right? Exports same. So if you here the type of export is object, it is having empty. Here we are not exporting anything as of now, so we didn't get anything. So let me try to here. I'm running it again. Here you can see it having some sub two properties, right? So we have exported this sum and sub, so it is executing that one. Okay, here you can see it executed first these two lines. After that only we are importing that module. So whenever we are importing that module, that time alone these files are getting executed. That's the reason we are getting first two lines is first, then only we are getting a second. Okay, here I will print it module.export also. You will have an idea. Module.exports. You can see both are same. We have assigned only to directly to the export object, but we can able to get it on module.exports. I hope you clear, right? The fourth parameter is underscore dir name. It denoting the directory name. Here you can see the type of directory name is string and the directory is particular folder where I am keeping this file. It displaying the folder. The fifth one is underscore file name. It going to denote about the file name. Here you can see the type of file name is string. It is denoting the current file name. So this is a 5 property we have to know about this. You have to make sure here we are not defining these properties. At the runtime, it getting wrapped by the functional wrapper. This functional wrapper will have this 5 property. That's the reason while executing we are able to access this. For example, I am using one unknown variable here, maybe test. It is not available in the current scope. It is not going to binded in the functional wrapper, so you will get an error. Here you can see undefined, but this functional wrapper getting this value. That's the reason we are getting the value. Okay, I told you right. Module module having the export property, also we having the another one parameter called export. What is the major difference between this? I told both it is a moreover alias name. Okay, let me print this both. It having one minor difference actually. You can see here because I have commanded other codes here. Just I am exporting this. That's the reason whenever I am calling this second file, while importing it get executed this module. Okay, we are getting sum on this. Okay, so I am not assigning this property here. Okay, just for the timing I will, let me see here. You can able to get only one property in exports, meaning this export act as a function. It is we are creating one more property sub and it is assigning our one more function, but it is not getting included here. The first one having the property but second one don't having the property. Why? Because because the export property always expecting property and value. So you could not directly assign like this. If you are assigning like this, it won't impact in module.export. So you can't able to access this variable in outside of that. You got it right? For example, you can able to do like export.sum and you can able to assign it. So you will get the value exactly what you have assigned in exports also the module.export. But if you are directly assign the value to this property, so it won't impact in this module.export. Why? Let me show you. The module.export, they having some condition like they will check this is the current type is object. Okay, this type of here I having the three console log. The first console log, before assigning this value, I am checking the type of export, the second type of export, and third. Okay, here you can see the output. The first, the initially the export is in object type. Second time, this export is in function. Third, even though if we are creating the property, it's still in the function. So they are checking the condition while assigning this export parameter to module.export. It should be the object. Then only they will assign it. So currently we are modifying the default type, right? That's the reason we are not getting. So this is, but still you can do like this. Module dot exports. Let me show you this. You can see it here. Right now I am printing that module.export like what we done it, right? Three ways. So I am directly assigning this sum to the export. Here also I am trying the same. But the output initially the module.export is a object. Second it is a function. Third it is function. But still we can able to access that function. But one thing here you have to note, whenever we are doing like this, you can it is overriding the previous one. So here you can see we are not getting the sum, we are getting only sub. You got it right? Okay. Anyway, I told we can able to do export in this case, but it will get override. Meaning, what are the things that we are assigning last, it will take it that one, right? Here, now I am trying to, as per our expectation, we can get an error in sum. Let me comment this one. So we know the sub is available. So still, if I am running this, I am getting the error. Let me show you here. As per things, we are getting this function. Here you can show sub is not a function. I told us we can able to export, but here I am getting like this because right now the sub is direct object. It is not in the name of sub. So if you are like do like this, you can able to get. You got it right? Okay. Okay, the same thing we will try with our export, what we tried previously. Here I am using the export, I am assigning the sum, export, here I am assigning the sub. I told you right, it won't get exported because it won't include in module.export. Let me try it in here. Maybe here I done it, here I am trying the same thing. While I am executing, you can see it here, I am getting the error. Let me print this module, you can see it. So sample is our module, right? Exported module. Here you can see we are getting only the empty object. It's not having any exported methods or property. That's the reason I told it having some difference compared than module.export and export. Actually it is a alias name, but while they are looping exports property and assigning to the module.export property, they having certain condition, it should be the object. Okay. Okay, here we are trying one thing differently. I am creating one property in export object. I am assigning the method for that. I am using one more property module.export So let me execute this. Here I have reverted back like previous one. Here I am using the sample.sum, sample.sub. Okay. If you are running this code, you can able to get this assign two values in both object. So almost this having some reference link. That's the reason we are assigning directly to the module.export. We can able to access it on this export. So it having some interrelated reference. Okay, we have done this way, right? We are right now we are doing export like this, but we can able to do like this too. You can do like this instead of specifying the particular variable. This is called destructing in ES6. So for example, we are creating one variable and assigning the value. Instead of that, you can use the same name. Here we are in record having some name, right? You can use the same name, and using the same name, it will assign directly to that. I mean, the sum will get the value of sum, what we exported here, right? This sum. The sub will get exported of sub. See here, I am changing just a name instead of sum to sum to. Here also I am changing sum, so I am getting the error. So it should be same name, that is a mandatory actually. Okay, let me back with the sum. Now we will check. Here we are getting the as expected. Okay, can I use all the time like this? No. For example, I told one more case, right? I am directly assigning this sub to the export. Okay, so if we are changing this, we know we are assigning only sub. So let me change only accessing, trying to access only sub. Here you can see the function dot module dot export having the value sub value that got exported, but we are getting the error on this line because the sub is not a function. So here we don't have the any specific featured function. I mean, what we are mentioned, this is the property name of imported object, but we don't have any imported object. Let me show you using the console.log. Let me try this to here itself. You can see it is importing directly the function, not as a object. That's the reason we are not able to accessing as a object. So in that case, I am trying like sub. So let me command this, otherwise we will get confused. 5, we can able to access this, right? This is the thing. So now you got it, right? Destructing and assignment, and how we can export, import, detailed import, what is the parameter, 5 types of parameter and use of that. I hope you having the enough detail.